You can see that it's moving, following the street within the right-of-way, and it's making a lot of 90-degree bends and turns in order to follow the street inside the right-of-way to get the water down to where it's wanting to go. Thank you, that's much better. Which is down here near the railroad embankment, the hiking trail. So I just wanted to give you guys that background so that we're all kind of on the same page for the discussion. What we were tasked to look at were some long-term solutions, and then to develop some shorter-term solutions as well. The long-term solutions we looked at, we went back to the office and brainstormed conceptual ideas that could help alleviate drainage problems in this area. We had some things that we wanted to accomplish, obviously reducing the amount of flooding, increasing conveyance capacity in the channels, and to get that water moving through the system a lot more efficiently. In order to do that, we know that we're working with limited area. Currently, the city is having to stay within the right-of-way with your drainage infrastructure, and you're doing a good job of trying to get that water where it wants to go now. It's a difficult thing when you have development in areas that are flood prone. So what we try to do is increase conveyance capacity in those channels. In order to do that, we have to make them bigger. And we all know that we're not getting any more right-of-way, so that necessitates the possibility of having to get drainage easements on adjacent private property. So one of our focuses was to try to lessen that amount of necessary impact as much as possible. We don't want to have to require as much drainage easements as possible. We want to limit that as much as we can. We also want to try to take out a lot of these bends hydraulically in open channel flow. That's not a very efficient way to carry water. It doesn't work well. So we need more space to convey that water. We want straight runs for as long as we can without bends, because it's more efficient to do that. So those were two areas where we were trying to focus. We were also trying to limit the amount of work we were having to do within the textile right-of-way, for obvious reasons. That adds cost and potential time for design and permitting and things of those nature. So those are some of the things that we try to look at in developing a long-term plan. And the one that we're showing you tonight is this plan here, where we felt like this best represented those things that we were trying to accomplish. You can see, hopefully you can see it, the green shaded area represents an open channel. We're proposing that some of the existing open channels, the ditches, would be widened, would be increased to convey more water. We're trying to match as many as the natural drainage patterns as possible, meaning this drainage pattern isn't actually natural, but we're trying to keep as much of it as we can so that we don't incur a bunch of additional costs. So you can see up here behind City Hall, we're proposing to keep the same alignment of the channel, but we want to widen it to allow for more water to flow in that channel. We're proposing that it would continue to cross 3rd Street as it does now, but it would need an improved culvert system to do that, so there would be some upgraded box culverts that would be necessary to move additional water through that intersection. As it crosses 3rd Street here, it gets into a new proposed channel that will generate some discussion and may seem a little unorthodox in what we're proposing or what we're thinking. That is actually the right-of-way of E Street. In this option, we propose that potential of closing that segment of E Street between 2nd and 3rd and converting it to a drainage channel. Currently, there are 2 drainage channels on each. There's a drainage channel on each side of E Street, and they're undersized. They're not performing well. They're difficult to maintain because they're eroding and silting up, and so it's difficult for your crews to get out there and maintain those properly. By removing the street section, we could do a much larger grass channel, that would convey more water and it would be easier for your crews to maintain. The impact with respect to traffic, currently there's no driveways that front East Street. The adjacent property owners get their access from either Second or Third, so we would not be removing any access points from East Street. The channel would then turn. There's a 90-degree turn. We just talked about not wanting to do those, right? But it's inevitable in this situation. We do have to get it down there. So we are going to have some bends in this channel. But the channel will be wide enough in order to handle that hydraulically. So in this area, we would be proposing some new drainage easements along private property as it crosses the street, parallels Second Street, and it crosses here with the culvert structure in the same location that it does now, but it would be an improved crossing. It would then drain into the existing channel where it drains now, but that channel would also be improved and would be widened in order to allow for more water to move through there. At that point, it drains down to the railroad embankment where there's some box culverts down there that go through the embankment. That's an area where FEMA maps show that there's some backwater effects from that embankment and those culverts, and it's acting as a dam, and it's impounding water back behind it, which causes problems as the water stacks up behind it further upstream and doesn't allow it to drain through. So what we would propose is that those culverts would come out of the embankment, and we propose to open cut that embankment similar to the shape of the channel and allow the water to drain through. Now that would do two things. It would allow the water to move through. It would reduce the amount of backwater behind the embankment, but it would disrupt your trail. So you would lose a segment on the top of the embankment. So we're just representing there that there would be a pedestrian bridge that could go across that new gap in the embankment.
Can we ask questions, or we have to wait till we finish?
That's up to you. If you want to ask the question.
Does anyone have any questions? No?
Well, I have a lot of questions.
Well, what I can do, I can run through this and then we can come back and answer. We can jump to each slide if you want to do that.
That's fine.
Okay. Is that okay? Okay. So this is a long-term option, and it's more of a regional project. Now, as we looked at this type of project, and you guys have been doing this long enough, you know that this is an expensive project. And so we, and please remember, this is conceptual. We haven't put any design calculations into this. We're representing what we think a conceptual layout might look like. So it's difficult to come up with what an actual cost would be, but we know it's going to be fairly expensive to do this type of project. So we were also asked to consider a short-term solution or option that would provide some benefit, but would be more on a local level. So we would focus in a little bit more on the intersection itself and try to reduce that cost a little bit and still provide some benefit for the area. That short-term option that we're showing here, we're calling it a diversion channel. So what we would propose is leaving the existing channels in place, but we would propose a new channel behind City Hall that would effectively tie into the current channel and divert water away from it. In some lower flow events, it would take some water away from that channel, freeing up capacity for that channel to move water where it's trying to go now. This new channel would come down, would come down and cross 3rd Street. We would have to do a new culvert crossing at that location. Then it would empty into a new proposed channel here that would move around these two properties, around the Knights of Columbus and the restaurant here. At that point here, we would have to tie that back into the existing drainage system. So there would be, yes.
I got to ask a question. can't divert water into other people's properties.
We would be diverting it around, we'd be conveying it through the channel. We wouldn't be dumping it on them, but we would be moving it through and around their properties in order to provide some relief from this intersection here.
When you're pointing it into other people's properties.
Yes, we would need to acquire drainage easements in order to do this option as well. So with this option, this diversion channel, we do recommend in any of our options we talk about tonight, we do feel it's important to do the improvements down at the railroad embankment because we feel like that will open up that drainage.
I've walked that area. I don't see why you're messing with that area. It's plenty big.
The channel
For
itself?
the last 62 years, I can tell you that.
Okay.
I just don't see a $200,000 bridge.
That,
And then I'm seeing about a $300,000 project get $800,000, $900,000. A lot of the things we walked in, showed it to you.
right.
You're showing something that's just totally, over-engineered, overpriced, the way I see it.
Yes.
Sorry, that's what.
And I agree with you 100%.
It's a lot simpler ways of doing it. I'm just seeing a big price tag for something that's, shouldn't have to be that expensive.
Right.
The big problem at Second Street and F Street, that's one big problem there. We have sort of landowners that were kind of interested in donating property or saying, yeah, we can speed this up.
Okay.
And what I'm seeing is just, you're building a Taj Mahal that doesn't need to be built.
Right.
Bring a lot more water out, take care of a lot of flooding that happens there. A big part is 3rd Street itself. The drainage underneath it is inadequate. But fixing it at 3rd Street, we know we have sort of 90-degree turns that are happening. That can all, see it rain 5 inches, 6 inches in 2 or 3 hours. Growing up watching it, knowing how it flows.
Yes, sir.
You got about 3 or 4 real bad points that need to be addressed and can make a tremendous amount of difference without spending $1 million on fluff,
Right.
I think it needs more work,
I agree.
There's a lot of different things that can be done cheaper and get rid of a lot more water.
Right.
In this kind of thing.
Yes, sir. Councilman Johns, I agree. So when we got done planning and looking at this option and we prepared the cost for it, we were a little disappointed in how high that number was. And there is a very healthy, allowance in there for that pedestrian bridge that could be done in many different ways. We had to get some information for you guys for your packet so that you could consider that for today's meeting and have some basis for the discussion. So we provided that to you, but since that time, we felt like the numbers were too high and it wasn't a feasible option. So we did sharpen our pencils a little bit and did some drainage analysis in order to provide an even more localized approach in order to consider what we were asked to do, which was to kind of take a look at that street flow and to help alleviate the Knights of Columbus, or to at least provide some relief for that situation. And we came up with this scenario, which is an interceptor type channel, which would pull water from the street itself. You'll notice that it's a very similar configuration, but it's quite a bit smaller around these properties. It does not extend upstream of of 3rd Street. It would, the main complaint from the Knights of Columbus is that the water would run down the gutter line and enter their driveway and flow through their front door. And so this option would help alleviate that. The curbs would be cut in this area, and the shoulder of 3rd Street would be modified in order to allow that water to drain into this new channel. And then it would be routed around and then back into the existing drainage structure there.
How about Second and F Street? That's where knowing, living there the whole time.
Yes, sir.
When they did this idiotic thing on F Street and Second Street, it used to be just a culvert, pretty wide culvert. And somebody came in that was, I don't know what they were doing, they made a smaller drainage area and turned it 290 degrees.
Right.
And once they did that, that's when the major flooding started coming through Smiths, Max Columbus, my parking lot, right? That's one of the big thing that caused most of this problem to start with. I haven't seen you doing a whole lot, I see where you're trying to convert here.
Right.
But if you didn't make that conversion, you still got the water going to Second and F Street there, and there's a big blockage. You got the same flood, right? It's still going to back up. Has nowhere to go.
Sure.
We need to stop because we don't have a quorum.
So I can wait for the other two councilmen. It's one of them. Or one of them.
Well, some of this, just discussion. Because I remember you being there.
Yes, sir.
And when we walked in with Mr. Turk, your face flat up there.
Huh?
You can come back.
Yeah. Stop.
What was your plans for Second and F Street? Anything there, or, I see where you're.
Hold on, sir, please. Just wait. Okay. Okay.
Councilman Johns, to answer your question about Second and F Street, we can certainly focus a little bit more on that area if that's in directive you would like for us to look at, certainly.
As I explained that day, that's when the whole problem started with that stuff.
Right.
And that's where the major, it backs up there and just starts coming up.
Right.
That's the whole thing. Where you're attacking it at, it's just gonna get water down there quicker. So it's going to just flood. It's not going to fix a whole bunch of big problems.
Right. Well, what we can do is we were trying with these short-term options is to give smaller, if you will, bite-sized chunks of projects that could be done, perhaps phased in order as funding is available, because they are a little bit more inexpensive to do.
Anytime you're trying to fix a flooding problem, don't start downstream instead of upstream. Here you're starting upstream. So the real problem that's happening is downstream.
Right.
You should open up that, fix that problem first, then start going up.
Right. Well, we are proposing with this with all these options is the culverts there.
The railroad area, or the old railroad area.
Right.
Those top culverts are big. And walking down it, even where it goes to the other culvert on 97, that's all been graded. It's all got a grade going downhill. I don't see why you would have to, even, tear up the railroad tracks to open it up. It's just as much water to drain on one side as the other side will.
Right. It eventually drains there, yes, sir. But after it ponds up back behind the embankment.
But that's not where the flooding is really happening. It's up the street from there. Right.
I was going to ask, how about TechStop? Did you get in touch with them?
We have not talked to the TechStop on yet.
Because that's really where the main problem is, right down there, and make that wider.
Right.
The other side on, is it E Street? WCN? On the side, the city can fix that, right? Or not?
Yeah, realistically for us, if you're talking about that area right there, it's just a matter of dollars, to be honest with you. But yes, we can take care of that issue.
On this side?
Yes,
The one that's, yeah, and then making the wider, I mean, couldn't the city do that also?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
But I think one of the things we charged engineers with was to solve the problem. That's just a temporary fix. Now, one of the things that the engineer gave us, one of the scenarios that he could bring today, is actually close up East Street, that portion, and make that the whole big channel. I didn't think that was necessarily a good way to go. Another suggestion, and Mr. Smith's property, he did allow us to, and I provided to them, the flood study that he had done on his property was to take part of that property adjacent to his main business and to condemn it to use it for this channel. I didn't think that was a good option as well. And so we're trying to come up with some scenarios of what we can do to do a short-term fix and then something for a long-term, because we will have to present this plan to TechStop because they will be involved.
Still, short term is still second M Street. That's where,
Go
well,
ahead.
you've seen it, you walked it. What are your feelings on Second and M Street?
I don't like 90-degree turns either.
There you go. That's the big restriction.
And we can absolutely look at that.
Unbelievable.
Mr. Jimenez, go ahead.
Okay, one of the reasons that, so one of the reasons I thought that we needed to get the engineers involved is because of the TechStop problems. The other, down, whatever, as long as we're not preventing the water flow, you know, the city could do a lot of the infrastructure ourselves. But there, in that small area where the state's involved, that's what we wanted you to really talk with TechStop.
But they wanted to come up with a design to see, when I met with Lance, he wanted to come back with a design to say that this is something that you like. I know he knows that you have very strong feelings, Councilman John and Councilman Jimenez. I know you have very strong desires as what we need to do. And when we want to present something to TechStop, we want to say that this is a plan that the council is behind, because we are going to need their permission, definitely on 3rd Street, AKA 181. So definitely was that. And we can reuse some of the things that we already have behind, because he wants to use what we already have behind existing for City Hall, right on the boot shop as well. So we want to be able to improve that, enhance that, and the wonderful money
We've
return.
already improved all that area.
It could use some additional improvement to help flow this a lot better, because we stopped the city, but we need to keep going forward.
No, I understand
But we
that.
need to have a plan of action of how you want to do it. But if we're going to actually touch that intersection, because that street is not ours, we need to have an engineered plan to be able to do that. And
See,
you're
the water's constricting there because of the state. You know, we all know that, I mean, and that's the reason we've been working on the drainages
Yes.
this year. You know,
Yes.
this year was the first year in 50 years since we've done anything.
Yes.
But there with the state area is, you know, we have to okay it with it.
We have to get it okayed, and they definitely want to have an engineered plan right off of that right away. Okay.
Can I get gas mic now?
Go ahead.
That trail, that's part of the railroad property,
Yes, sir.
so we gotta get permission from the railroad, the state transportation.
Yes, so us,
No, railroad property's never been,
everything above it, right now, I think that's what the city lease was.
We have a lease for the ground surface of it, but we'd have to run the plan, if we do the pedestrian, we'd have to run the plan through that. Hoping we can, as we make improvements to the hiking bike trail, that can be part of that grant. But it would definitely be, we can make some improvements, but we'd have to notify Union Pacific as well.
but my question was, can we even go to the railroad commission and show them where that's at? Because when I was talking to them at the convention, they do have money to help. So we can go to them.
We can. Once we have a
Yeah.
plan, we can definitely take the pedestrian, because it looks like in all his scenarios, this pedestrian walkway is part of that. That once we have an engineered plan, we can take it to them to say, we need to make that improvement.
Okay. Go ahead. Mr.
That part
Johnson.
of the bridge, you're gonna have to show me. It's just simple looking at it. That railroad doesn't have to be moved. You know, the dirt down there is not, it doesn't flood there. You need to see it when it rains. You know, it's very adequate running along that railroad crossing, you know, where it's gonna come through anyway. And there's no big channel cut through that area. you know, we own, well, the city owns the property where it empties into basically. But I see no reason to have to knock down, you know, to put a bigger channel to where the railroad track used to be. You know, it's just, have you walked it or just looked at aerial pictures of it?
I walked it that day with you.
Well, you just walked up a little ways. Have you walked all the way down?
That's right, no.
Yeah, I don't think you see how wide it is, how much you can bring there. It's, what you're doing is, I think, a waste of time. Just really need to look at it better. I would plan to go with you and see if we can come to.
You bet,
you know,
absolutely.
conclusion on it.
You bet.
And what you're doing there, I think, is a waste of time, and a lot of waste of money.
Okay, thank you.
Just-
Thank you for your input.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Can you turn the lights on? Oh, are we finished with the?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Okay. New business, thank you. Thank you.
One more question.
One more question.
So you didn't contact TechStop or anything?
They're going to contact Tech now that they've done it, but they want to present it to you before they go to TechStop. They need, because you're the client, they have to bring it to you first before they take it to TechStop.
Makes sense. But it doesn't mean that we're gonna follow it, right?
Well, we just want to say to TechStop, we're looking at making some improvements here. We have several options, and then we're asking their input on what they recommend. But they have to bring it to the client first.
And what can they do?
Well, I'm going to ask them for some money because they have some discretionary funding, but we want to bring the scenarios to you, long and short,
Yes.
and see what they're saying. But they have to bring it to the clients first before we take it to TechStop. Will from the regional office, correct? That's who we would see? Will Locke. Yes. That's the gentleman who came just to remind you all when they were talking about closing up here. That gentleman, he's at the regional, and so that's who we'll take it to. So that will be our next step, and then they'll probably follow through sometime in July.
All right, we're gonna do new business now. CNA to approve proclamation 2018-008, May is Lupus Awareness Month.
Yes, Madam Pro-Tem, we have a representative here who can speak to the request of the proclamation.
Angelica, first.
Angelica Garza, I'm the Field Services Director for the Lucas Foundation of America, Lone Star Chapter. I service South Central Texas, and when I say service, what I mean is that we, as an organization, help educate individuals who are affected by lupus and help improve the quality of life for all of those who are affected by it. And so part of what it is that we do is encourage community partners like yourself, Mayor, and City Council to help support the awareness campaign for what lupus is and how it affects those that are living with it. Currently, 120,000 Texans are estimated to be living with lupus, which translates to about 365,000 families in the state. And so I'm based in San Antonio. Our main office is in Dallas. We serve over 200 counties within the state to help make sure that those that are living with lupus have an improved quality of life through patient and support services, educational programs, and fundraising events that help create awareness about what lupus is and how it affects those that are living with it. So the request for the proclamation is in support of Lupus Awareness Month, which is all of May. Today is actually World Lupus Day, which is a global initiative to make sure that people know across the globe about what lupus is and to make sure that policymakers are aware that this is a public health issue. And on May 18th, which is put on Purple Day, which is also Lupus Awareness Day, that we ask the community and with your support that the community would wear purple and then share photos through social sites to let people know that people that have lupus are being thought of on that day.
And with that, I'll go ahead and read the proclamation 2018-008. Whereas an estimated 1.5 million Americans suffered from lupus, the chronic inflammatory autoimmune disease that can affect various parts of the body, especially the skin, joints, blood, and kidneys. And whereas lupus can be difficult to diagnose because its symptoms are similar to those of many other illnesses, and major gaps exist in understanding the cause and consequences. Whereas the Lupus Foundation of America, Lone Star Chapter,